All right, I'm back. This is Gold Pilled here with the Gold Pilled stream. How's all my people out there in the alt media world doing today? And it's been a while since I made any videos, and that's mostly because I'm just so busy in IRL that I haven't gotten around to being able to make anything. And the fact that my reach is very minimal, it just doesn't really give me any incentive to make videos. But last time I logged in, I noticed my subscriber count has doubled from what it was the previous time I was in there. So I think I'm at 24 now. So I figured, hey, maybe I'd do a video here and put out a little content. Um, Quick update on the health. My pneumonia is still lingering. I just finished all the tests the pulmonologist wanted me to have done, and did a CT scan to see what my lungs look like. And apparently, there are still some minor patches of pneumonia lingering in there. So it gave me another 10-day antibiotic and recommended trying to get all the gunk out of my lungs, because apparently that will, if you don't get that gunk out, it'll, I guess, keep making it linger. So I got a vest that looks like a life vest that vibrates, I guess, to knock the stuff loose. And I have a nebulizer now for albuterol and I guess like a saline and that stuff to help me get the gunk out. And I'll be honest, I haven't been real thorough with using it, but I'm gonna try to start doing that to get on it, because even though I feel perfectly healthy and everything, I'm sure it's not good to have pneumonia lingering in your lungs for this long. The doc still thinks I'm aspirating food, which is what caused it, but I think I just got it. Didn't know about it for so long, which was quite a long time, about probably a year and a half or so. And, it just damaged my lungs and got so deeply entrenched. It's just a pain to get rid of it now. Not to mention the doctors dropped the ball a time or two um, for treatment when we, discovered it, that, has contributed to this lingering. So um, we can't uh, clear it up with the next CT scan. I'm referred to a bigger city with a better healthcare network. So hopefully it goes away. I'm just sick of appointments and stuff. And with the last swallow test I did, I was referred to the gastroenterologist. So I haven't followed up with the pulmonologist to see what the results were of that swallow test. So I don't know if I am aspirating some food after I eat, it's coming back up or not. But I guess I'll find out here this week when I do the pulmonologist follow up in a month or something. It's the gastro. And then I still got to follow up with the cardiologist, because the hole in my heart when you're born, it never closed. And I have possibly a leaky valve or something in there. But other than that, my heart's really strong and functioning properly and probably won't need any attention. But they want to, you know, get a more in depth look at the detail of the hole in the flap or whatever. Valve, I guess. So that's the health update. Just pain in the ass, when you got family and stuff to take care of, and you got all these doctor's appointments you got to keep following up on. And it's all, the whole healthcare system's bullshit now. Money making racket, and it is keep going, keep sucking you dry, especially the elderly. They want you sucked dry, so that by the time you die, you're broke. There ain't nothing to leave to your family. No intergenerational wealth. You just remain peasants. So enough with the health there. In the way of the magic boxes, um, car's been running good ever since I fixed her all up with the timing chain. I haven't had any issues. I think I got over the hump of high mileage car and got all the maintenance interval stuff taken care of, and so hopefully she lasts for a good while now. Um, Computer wise, I just upgraded the RAM in this laptop, 16 gigs. It's an 8-year old computer, Dell, 2015. I got it, and still runs like a champ. Got just enough, power and everything as a modern one bought, and I love it. I'll be so sad if anything major happens to it that I can't repair. So, any of you wanna, upgrade old PC equipment? RAM's the easiest. Um, Hard drives another about easiest, and laptops are a little harder, but desktops are easy. I have one I built in 2008, and that thing's still a champ. I don't use it much because it sucks a lot of power and it's like a little heater in the room. So, but laptops, it can be done. Um, the old Dells, they were only rated for 8 gigs, but if you have a 5th gen or newer Intel CPU, they can take 16. That was the case with mine, so I got lucky. I was able to put 16 in there, or else I would have been stuck with 8. Um, Anybody in the firearms, it seems like primers for reloading ammo are becoming more available. I haven't been able to get any since before this C19, and a few months ago, my local supplier actually had them. So I picked up a few thousand, and now I can actually go shoot again, which I haven't done since my twins were born, which was 4 some years ago. Uh, the primers were double the price I paid the last time I purchased them, but you can get them, which is a big start. Which, the whole point of reloading is so I'm not at the mercy of big, corporate ammo companies, but you're still at the mercy because the components needed, those can be easily controlled by the companies that make them or by the government. So, if they really want to screw us, we will be screwed. The best thing is to have it, before anything happens. And that would be pretty much full out, considered crazy prepper. Have a stash, and most people don't have the means to do that. I don't have the means to do it, even though I would like to. But um, don't let guns be magic boxes either. They're easy to tinker with, work with. Um, Now, if you get into something like the older vintage revolvers and stuff, they take a little bit of know-how to work on them, but don't be afraid of them. Whatever you own, know the ins and outs of it. Know how to do the maintenance yourself and become as most self-sufficient as you can. You don't want to have to rely on anybody, when the time comes. So, I have a few topics here today picked out. I find a topic I want to cover, I'll write it down, and there's probably too much to cover in one video, so I'll probably just cover the main one, mention the others, and probably save them for future videos. The main thing I'm going to go over here today is the good old Alex Jones and the InfoWars. And again, I honestly still cannot believe that there are people out there who love Alex Jones still. There are the people out there who still believe he is a genuine truth teller and freedom fighter for your rights. Alex Jones is one of the biggest psyops in the alternative media. I wouldn't say ever, but he's one of the top psyops. He's very likely a controlled opposition psyop, an operation from his very beginning. I know William Cooper, Bill Cooper, he didn't like Alex Jones from the start. And so it's very likely that, they set him up long ago and they cultivated him into what he is now. And the whole way along the line, they were controlling people's minds and they were controlling the truth movement right along with it. That's how they do it. It's called limited hangouts. Or, yeah, propaganda wouldn't be effective if it wasn't good. So they tell you truth. They hit truth on topics. But overall, they control the narrative. So even though they're telling you truth, they're still steering the narrative. They're still steering your thoughts in the direction that they want them to go. Now, excuse me, they've known how to do this for decades upon decades, manipulate the people's minds. But what's so damning currently is the modern digital age, because now they have computing power and the creation of AI that can simulate, run tests and figure out, what propaganda is going to cause what outcome. So they have the technology now to plot all this stuff out. And that's one of the topics I had down. And this relates to the HBO series Westworld. If no one's seen Westworld out there, I recommend getting it and watching it. Now, any of the shows I mention, I don't pay for any of the streaming services or whatever. They ain't get my money. Oh, I shouldn't say that. $10 a month for Netflix, the basic Netflix. That's it. But anything else, like if there's a series or something I'm interested from anywhere else, I'll download it. I pay for a VPN, CyberGhost specifically. And then I just use my VPN and I'll go on a torrent site and I'll download any show I want. That way my ISP doesn't, ban me from getting internet service. So get a VPN and then you can go download whatever you want. The VPNs are cheap. I think I paid $80 or something for 3 years. So, but get Westworld, watch Westworld. Now, I really liked the direction the show was going, but then about midway, it took another turn. It kind of got stupid, but leading up to the point where they were using Westworld as an experiment, and everyone that went there, the costumes they would have them dress up in, had like sensors in the headwear. And while people were in there, it was scanning their brains and mapping their brains and pretty much copying their personality. And then all this information was being fed into a huge AI system. And I think the final iteration was called Rehoboth. It was this huge ball AI. And, once they collected, all this data, this Rehoboth, it pretty much knew the future. Like, it knew a person's destiny. It knew the outcome of the person's life. It knew all of that. But then they eventually destroyed it, and then it took the show took a weird turn. But the use of that AI for, predicting stuff, they have that technology, at their fingers today. So you better believe they're using that to know, what type of propaganda to put out, who to put it out to, what the outcome is going to be of that. Just like, the World Economic Forum, mainly that Yuval Harari, and I've mentioned this in my previous videos, where he says, your decisions and day-to-day activities are not your own anymore. They've figured out how to control the human brain. And it would be wise to believe that little weasel. Because as this technology gets more and more evolved and people are more and more glued to it, the more they're going to be controlled by it. And the youth of today, their noses are in their smartphones. Hell, even, older generations are glued to their smartphones. So as this becomes the norm, the newer generations, it's gonna be a Westworld Rehoboth controlled system. So um, that just that's like the all powerful tool in their arsenal of mind control. And listening to videos recently, like I said, they've been doing this decades upon decades. So now that they have the AI technology to help them, what do you think the power is, at their disposal? Um, I've really been liking Charles Giuliani's channels on Odyssey. He has a channel called Christendom 2 and Truth Hurts Radio. And I'll share my screen here and go show you um, the channels. That way you can actually see them and I ain't spelling them out or anything. But he has a lot of notes and has studied a lot of history. And with him, it's all about the Jays and how they've been weaseling their way in power mechanisms for millennia. And honestly, I've listened to, I'd say probably 75% of his archive. And besides the constant harping on the Jays, I would venture to say he's probably about 80% correct with his viewpoints and stuff. So I would highly recommend. Right here is Christendom 2, and then Truth Hurts Radio. Although very recently he has eye trouble. There's something with his eyes, and he thinks he's been stressing his eyes out too much, and he hasn't been able to read his notes properly. He said he was going to take a break, a few-month break, but he recently said he was going to try to just do 2, maybe 3 videos a week, back off of it and see if it helps, because he didn't want to stress himself in the blindness, and I don't blame him on that. So here, Truth Hurts Radio. This is kind of more geared toward history, and then the Christendom 2 channel is more geared to debunking the Bible and debunking the whole Christianity. And I might save this for another video based on his work here. But yeah, Christianity might be the greatest lie ever told. He completely rips the Bible apart in this archive here. And along with Adam Green, which I have some clips here of Adam Green that we're going to go over. Not on the Christianity topic, but the Alex Jones topic. But Adam Green follows the Christianity hoax. And between him and Giuliani here, there is a lot of evidence that shows the Bible was written by the Jews, and it may or may not have been like a new religion for them. But then they discovered, how well it worked with the Goy. So they put it out for the Goy. It was intended to be a control mechanism over Rome. That way they could eventually collapse Rome. And that's the way it played out. Rome became, Christian, and through that structure, they weaseled their way in the power thingy, and they toppled Rome. So, yeah, that might be another video I go on. But anybody out there deeply involved in mainstream religion, it's time to wake up, because that's nothing but a control mechanism. And I fully believe that, beckoning on Giuliani, it's the Jays are behind it all. But I don't necessarily think it's the Jays in the normal sense. It's a group of people who have their own culture and history, and they've just created these mechanisms of control, and they may call themselves Jays, in the public front, but underneath, they're not beholden to any religion. They're likely satanic or worship whatever dark entity, but they weasel their way into power structures and take over, and they've been doing this for millennia, and that's why they've been kicked out of over 100 countries, some numerous times, and every time the local populace figures out what's going on, they kick them out. But recently, they've got their hooks in so deep that we ain't getting out of this one, and people are so lulled to sleep that we don't have the numbers, or you know people won't believe you when you do tell them, like this Christianity topic, the stuff I just said. It's going to be highly contested. People hear me say it ain't real, it's made up. Why? They don't want to hear anything I have to say, because it's a lifelong conditioning. And I understand, you were born and told this your entire life. Even just the modern society, the matrix that they've created in the USA, since the USA was started. It's pretty much a matrix. That's all you know. So to be told that it ain't real and it's all a ploy for, world control, it's a hard pill to swallow. And that's where the gold pill comes in, to open your mind and rise above all this and be open, to realize that pretty much everything is not what it seems. Like, even topic of the USA was created as an experiment, and it was intended to become an empire, and all controlling empire, and it did just that. And the same people, that had their Weasley um, rubbing hands together, behind it, created the USA, and they've been using it for, the intended purpose this whole time. And they're about at the point where they no longer need the USA to do the all encompassing empire anymore, and it's time to bring it down a notch and move into the total world control. But we're getting a little off topic here. But I highly recommend Christendom 2 and the Truth Hurts Radio. Go and watch all his videos. If you believe in Christianity, watch all his videos in Christendom 2. And if by the time you're done you still believe in it, then I feel bad for you, because like I said, even though he might not be right 100% of the time, in general, I believe he's correct on many, many, many things. And I mean, it's even spelled out, right there in their own text for you. And then if you watch Adam Green, he quotes all the rabbis and the people behind it, quoting their actual quotes and claims. I mean, how can you deny that? The recent videos from here was about the education system. And that's where I was saying they've controlled people's minds for decades. Here's the NEA, 3 parts. I just got done listening to that. And he has, in their own words, quoting them from the 60s, 70s, even back before. They intended public education to be a means of stripping away what the parents taught the child and indoctrinating them into being serfs in, the world society, being slaves for them. I mean, they outright say it themselves. They're telling you the plan openly. It would be wise to, heed those words. That's why we are so screwed right now, because no one will believe. The cognitive dissonance is hard, to hurdle. It's like I said, it's been a lifetime of, conditioning. Now, I don't know what it is with me, but I've always kind of kind of seen the Matrix for what it was ever since a child. I just, I don't know. I could see through it all. Um, I was raised, Catholic. I was made to go to catechism and first confirmation or whatever, and whatever the last thing he was. Once you get to like 11th, 12th grade, uh, I quit before I got that final, whatever they did, because I seen it was all bullshit. I was like, this is ridiculous. You're making me worship whatever your book, and the book just is stupid. And you can't expect us to believe it's God's word. And I quit. My mom wasn't happy, but she got over it. But so luckily I've just been awakened to things. Others not so much. You're deep in the conditioning, and it's gonna take a huge effort to get you out of it. So anyway, check those channels out. Excellent, excellent content. But my next topic here, let's see, make sure. Um, yeah, we'll go into the Alex Jones. I wanted to talk about the Rabbit Hole series here. If anybody's seen that, I forget what channel it was on. If it was HBO or Apple or whatever, but the Rabbit Hole. I think it was only one season so far, but it was a good series. And what it was is this guy, he had his business, and his business was pretty much to do false flags, um, manipulate the digital realm in order to sway, I guess, actions like politically for corporations. Like he had a business, though. Let's say a corporation wanted to do a merger or something, and the players needed to make it happen weren't willing. Well, they would hire this guy's company, and this guy would go out and he would set it up, whatever events needed to happen in order to make this merger then go through. Like the one thing, it was a company, and um I forget what it was, but he just walked up to this one big corporate player and stood beside her and dropped an envelope and then walked off. And then the lady bent down and picked it up, and the guy beside her, which they weren't even there, didn't know each other, she picked it up and was like, here, you dropped this. And he said, oh, thanks, and took it. And they had someone hiding in the car taking pictures of them exchanging this envelope, and then they put it out in the public view, and create a story behind it. And then, oh, it's the shady dealings with them, and it allowed some corporation to get what they wanted via that. And the overall plot of it is there's this guy high at the top who can pretty much control anything, and has eyes all through the digital realm, can see just about everything, manipulate everything, and he's trying to take over, the country, world, whatever. Um, the guy and his dad are trying to stop him. His dad's been trying ever since he was a child, and that's the overall plot. But they used deep faking videos in the series. Like, they set the guy who had the business doing this, they set him up as the shooter for a murder. They did a deep fake and put it out to the public, so the police were after him. And they would fake deaths by using DNA and planting DNA at the scene, the scene of the murder, and just all kind of. It was a good look at what they can do. The series Rabbit Hole. So I recommend you go get Rabbit Hole. Watch that, because you watch that, and then apply that to real life. And best believe the stuff going on in that rabbit hole is happening in real life. And once you see all that, and then you realize that, what's going on in there is possibility and, and likely, taking place in the real world, then you'll start to open your eyes a lot more, into the state of our reality here, where, corporations and governments and those who control them, they pretty much have all encompassing power. They can do whatever they want. They want someone gone, they're gone. They want you gone, you're gone. They just want to ruin your reputation. Your reputation's ruined. They can do it. And like I said, the digital landscape that's been built out, and the AI, and the deep fakes are getting so much better. That is just more tools in their arsenal that make it so much easier and so much more believable. When you can do a deep fake, plaster it all over social media, and get it in, to mainstream media sources, then, well, that's done. That's as good as solid truth to probably 70% of the populace. So they can do whatever they want. And anything you see in the news or social media, you have to question. Nothing can be believed. That's the overarching point of rabbit hole. Anything you see, you better question it, because it can all be fake events, like complete events that you see in social media or mainstream media could just be fake. They're just putting it out there, telling you that. How do you know? How do you know if it's real or not? It's everything. It's it's mind blowing. The control of the propaganda, and it's mind blowing. It's total. I don't even know what to call it. Just totally. Um, that kind of plays on. They cloned Tyrone. The just came out on Netflix. I watched it. It wasn't bad. Jamie Foxx, which he's been down and out because probably the jab. Or I should talk in code, because anything talking about that, I come down on. So I'll do what Pockets of the Future does. He calls the jab the boop. If any of you don't watch, it's a YouTube channel, Pockets of the Future, and he has a second channel, Apocalypse Now. I recommend it. He's a good guy, cool dude. He does comedy around celebrities, just kind of ripping on them, making fun of them. He's probably not for everybody, but something about him I just really connect with. Um, he he doesn't really do much research or anything in the truth community, but yet he sees just many things that I do, that takes research and hours, listening and watching stuff, and he just gets stuff. So if you want to check that out, I'd recommend it. But yeah, he calls the jab the boop. So yeah, Jamie Foxx got laid up for a while because of the boop, and secret. Now he finally made a video, and he looks like shit. It looks like he's been laid up sick for a while for all the weight loss. His face is sunk in, and you can tell he's been sick, pale, and but they won't say what happened. Won't speak a word of that. But they were saying he's a clone now, which is complete bullcrap. Not that they can't clone humans, but they can't clone humans and make them 40 years old immediately, and they can't transplant people's minds into them yet. I should never say never, but I'm pretty sure they don't have that technology yet. Yeah, you can clone a human, but it's going to have to grow and develop from a baby into adulthood just like any other human. So the stupid people saying they make clones and replace people with it, that's just part of the IIA psyops that they put out there, because the lower intelligence, double digit IQ people, they'll believe that stuff. Some people love that crap. It's sad that our median IQ is double digits now instead of triple digits. You know, but anyway, they cloned Tyrone. It was an alright movie. It was funny. Um, Pretty stereotypical. I'll just say that. That type of stereotypical was funny to me. I enjoy that comedy. But the overall plot is this entire neighborhood, the Glen, had an underground facility under it, and they had entry points all over the neighborhood. They controlled all the major businesses like strip clubs and hair salons, grocery stores, and they were pretty much running experiments on the people there. And all the products that the people were using was created by this big entity. The food was from them. Everything they watched was all propaganda from this elite. They have this facility under there, and they were experimenting with different compounds. To sedate them, to dope them up, to make them laugh. Make them complacent. But they had clones of certain people, like certain key people of society. They had multiple clones of them, like 4 or 5 at a time. And these key people of society were placed in the community to maintain a certain status quo. Like the main character was a drug dealer, and he got shot, and they replaced him with another clone. And then Jamie Foxx's character was a pimp. And once they got into the facility, they seen that Jamie Foxx's character was a clone too. So the pimp of the neighborhood was a clone, and they discover that these key people were specifically there to maintain the status quo of being a shit neighborhood that no one wants anything to do with, and that allowed them to continue to experiment on the public without any gentrification or anybody wanting to develop or put money into it. It was an easy experimental zone. And then it turns out they had these locations all over the country. Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit. They have places like this. But the goal of this experimenting and the cloning was to make everybody the same. So, not only, were they doing clones, and figuring out ways to control people, but their main goal was to make everybody the same. Because they came out and they said, we've been trying to figure out how to control people, but we can't control them because not everybody is the same. Everybody is different. So we're trying to figure out a way to combine everybody pretty much into one, not species, but I'm blanking on the word. One, what do you call it? Let's see. Like one genetic type. Like, I can't believe I'm blanking on that word. You got your, colored people, white people, Asian people, whatever. They want to combine all that into one. Kind of like the South Park episode where the people from the future were coming back in time to take your jobs. And they were just all mulatto colored. They all looked identical because they were all the same in the future because of, the melting pot. Everyone just blended together and they're all the same. Well, they cloned Tyrone. That was the goal of this, corporate, elite entity doing these experiments. They wanted to make everyone the same because then once they were the same, they could control all of them the same. So, are they trying to do that to us today? Make everyone the same? Uh, I'd say probably yes. Maybe not in that manner as to combine everyone's heritages together, but on a basic level of making them all the same, like societal the same, probably. But there's a lot of good undertones in the They Clone Tyrone, um, as far as applying that to real life and predictive programming and um, everything like that. So check that movie out. If you want to see that and look for those undertones and hints. Like pretty much everything they come out with now is is hinting at something. Controlling your thinking. Um, Another one I kind of skipped over. It's related to the Westworld and the rabbit hole, but the new Black Mirror season came out, and I think there was only like 5 episodes. But even though I'll share my screen here again, even though the episodes in this latest season of Black Mirror they weren't quite as predictive programming as the previous seasons. There was one episode that was a little telling, and I have Wikipedia pulled up here of the 5 episodes and their plots. But the first episode, Joan is Awful, and it's kind of a play on Netflix where it's Streamberry, and this lady's leading this life. I forget where she works, but she comes home and watches Streamberry like a normal person, and here she sees a show, Joan is Awful, and well, her name's Joan, and she starts watching it, and it's about her daily life that she just had the previous day. So this AI computer created this show based on her actual life and put it on Streamberry or Netflix, you could say, and everybody's watching her private life on there play out because once they get all the monitoring systems in place that they wish, they'll be able to watch everybody's daily life whenever if they want. Record it, feed it into AI, and there you go. They can control you, or record everything and predict, your behavior influences. That goes back to the Rehoboth, on Westworld, or the rabbit hole with the companies doing that. And here the goal of the Streamberry was they wanted to eventually cater like what people watch to that specific person. So like me, I'd go on there, go on Streamberry, and what do I want to watch? Well, the stuff they're giving me to watch was made just for me. Like if you would go on there and say, hey, what to watch, you're not going to have the same stuff to watch that I do because they, tailored it. AI created it specifically to what would interest me, or take it a step further, what is needed to control me, what's needed to control my thinking, what's needed to push me in a certain direction. And that's totally different from you. So when you go there, you're going to get a totally different experience. So this episode is telling predictive programming of probably the future of the online streaming and media, where they're going to start creating stuff specifically for the user, tailored right to them. And you can thank the use of social media and all the data mining that they've done as to how they know you better than you know yourself. And that's I participated in social media maybe for the first couple years it came out, and then after that I kind of got bored, and I wasn't like posting my lunch and stuff like other people. It was just reconnecting with like some old friends and stuff, kind of communications. And after couple years, I got bored and really didn't do it. And then I got into IT and computers, and realize that they're just stealing your data. And I'm a ghost. I don't do any social media. I have some accounts, but I do no participation, no posting, nothing. But even that tiniest bit I have is enough for them to gather data points on me, and probably enough to be useful of something. So people need to stop with the social media. I know it's beneficial or something, but guess what? Pick up a phone and call somebody, or even text messages or something. But even those are harvested. There's pretty much nothing private that's not harvested and fed into an AI and becomes data points. Um, I think maybe one of my last videos, I went over the person who was doing tests on Google. And it was like 40,000 data points they have on people. And he found that how they were doing what this streaming service, tailoring content to people. Well, Google was doing that for search results and stuff and targeting children. And so they're already doing this stuff. They were doing this stuff 5, 10 years ago. Think of where it's at now. I can't stress enough the level of control they have over people with this digital tool at their disposal. They figured out how the mind works decades ago. They know how to control a mind. They figured that out with, I'm blanking on it, the mind control in the 60s, MK Ultra. That whole thing was to, how do you control people in the mind? They figured it out. They know what they need to do. They know how to split people's personalities. They figured this out before the digital age. So it's nothing new to them. But now the digital age is here. It's pretty much an open book for them to write, and they're taking advantage of it. The second episode here of Black Mirror's just about a creepy killer, and then the third episode is space mission where they have technology that these people are in space, but they lay in this like chair and hook up to their head, and they go to sleep, and their conscience gets transported to pretty much human drones on Earth. And then they live consciously in this drone on Earth with their family for whatever period of time. And then they go back, sit in their chair and disconnect. And then they wake up in space. And, I could see them, trying for technology like that to transplant consciousness and work through drones and stuff like that. But I don't think they're quite there yet, being able to harvest someone's conscience out of their mind and transplant it or even save it, to put into a new body or anything. I don't think they're there yet, but I'm sure that's a goal of somebody. Fourth episode, Maisie Day. It's just kind of a werewolf genre episode, and the last one, Demon 79. there's there's some underpinnings to this episode. It's about a demon who makes this girl kill people, and to make her feel better, they pick out evil people that might deserve to be killed. But if she doesn't kill 3 people, the world's gonna end. And there's some undertones in there of evil's necessary. You know, evil needs to occur, or even more, catastrophic things will take place. And then in the end, she joins the demon together. And they go off to their happy demon realm somewhere, and nuclear missiles destroy the world. So that was the Black Mirror season. And like I said, it's not as predictive as the first one, but the Joan is Awful was the one out of the bunch that was the good predictive programming, and that's where it's heading. Everything is going to be tailored to you. That's why right now, you talk around your phone, mention stuff, You mention a product, oh, I could use some new shoes. And then the next day you're getting ads from Timu, the shoe company, or this and that, advertising you shoes because, it's recording your voice, hearing you that, or it's scouring your social media, analyzing, your posts and type, and they're targeting the ads directly for you. They've been doing that for many years. So it's only going to get worse, you know, and I don't know what more to say, but well, we're 50 minutes in already, and I didn't even get to the main topic. So maybe I will save that topic for the next one. Yeah, I think I'll save the Alex Jones jumping on the J train and is the newest member of the crew, the Adam King show, Adam King, for another video. I'm 50 minutes in here, and that was what I was originally starting out with, saying with the info wars being a psyop from the start, and but then I got into the how they control and manipulate your brain and mind, and that whole topic played in perfectly to all the other points of content I wanted to cover, um, which I got into, so that covered that stuff pretty good. So, yeah, I'll save the Adam King on Infowars for another video. That'll give me something else to create and give me an incentive to get another video out here too. Just because so many people out there, they're still Infowars fans. Like, and I've gone over this in my previous videos. Like, what do you need to see to realize that it's an IA psyop to control you, to control the narrative given to you, and totally bamboozle you. Who was the guy behind the IIA? Patrick Berge was. He's, oh, I'm hesitant to come on, Alex Jones, and Alex is like, why? He's like, well, the very name InfoWars is named for information warfare. He's like, you're like leading propaganda here. And it's all the pieces of the puzzle fit. You just need to open your eyes and see the picture. It was created, intelligence operation and information warfare on the public's mind. And Alex Jones was the perfect person to carry it out. He's like a reality star. He wanted to originally be a religious, figure, like those outrageous, Baptist ministers or the online pastors, the real flamboyant ones in character, and get people to Christianity and open your wallet for Jesus and make like mega church pastor. That's what he originally wanted. So he's a perfect character to garner an audience. And the fact that, they're still popular out there, the point needs to be hit home at, what a propaganda piece it is. So I'm going to continue to point that out. There's probably not many people on YouTube that still do that anymore, because anyone that ever did that's gone. So we'll do that the next video. We'll go over and rip on his band.video website and look at Adam King's little website he has up advertising his show, and then we'll watch some clips of Adam Green cover Adam King, because Adam Green already picked out certain clips of this Adam King, to rip on and show how kosher he is and how they're all pushing the Jewish prophecy and how they're using Christianity to achieve, all these goals and stuff, and they are. So that's all I'll say there about that. So, all right, everyone, have a good day, night, whatever it is to you when you're listening to this, and strive for that gold pill. Everything out there is meant to deceive you. And if you don't find the gold pill, you're going to be deceived. So take care. Peace.